Oh, it's been a big week, and coffee is getting me through. I don't know about you, but coffee is it's what powers me, powers my day. Yeah, let's get into the video. So, hello, welcome to the Judo Way of Life. My name's David. I hope you're well, I hope you're training hard, and I hope you're throwing hard. So today's video is going to wrap up my top whatever number throws, and we're going to be looking at Sutemi Waza. So my top 3 favourite Sutemi Waza techniques. Now, I didn't bother doing splitting into rear and side because Sutemi Waza is a category of throws that I don't really use all that often. The 3 throws I'm going to go through with you today are pretty much the 3 throws that I use. I use them on a regular basis in my randori and when I was doing competitions, but I don't really deviate away from these 3 throws all that often. So yeah, doing splitting them just seemed a bit of a waste of time for me. So first up is Sumi Gaeshi. I love this throw. I really struggled with Tomoe Nag when I was learning these throws. So quite often they get put together and they're quite different. I'm not sure if it's a length of levers thing or just simply I'm useless at it thing, possibly a bit of both, but either way, never really enjoyed doing Tomoe Nag. Always struggled with it, but Sumi Gaeshi just made sense, so I always gravitated more towards this throw, especially when he's fighting under 81s. I found people usually shorter than me, and then if we could get them to bend, I would either go for Sumi Gaeshi or possibly Surigoshi, depending on how my opponent reacted. I love though, I've just decided to start doing this recording and my dog is now eating his breakfast nice and loud right next to me. He's just dragged his bowl over, so I'll just take the piss. Anyway, really like doing this throw from doing the deep cross grip, so where you're grabbing the sleeve, pulling it across, coming around the back and sitting through. And yeah, like I said, used to do it quite a bit, 81s. Found just because of the size thing, if I could get over the top and come down, and if my opponent bent over, I was able to get the throw better. Use it less now that I've been hundreds, and I don't know if that's because of the difference in the way the weight groups, obviously the size of the people in the weight groups, or how people fight in hundreds versus 81s. But I still use it in randori whenever the opportunity arises. Still really like this throw. Next is Tani Otoshi. So I discussed Tani Otoshi in more details during my top 5 favourite throws video. So this was number 5 in that list. So if you want to hear my thoughts and feelings, go over there. I mean, I banged on about Tani Otoshi and why I think it's a drastically misunderstood throw and how I think it's unfairly demonised quite a lot on this channel. So for now, I'll just say Tani Otoshi is a wonderful throw, and when used as part of an action-reaction situation, say for example using the ogoshi or like a hip throw to get the reaction and then throwing your partner backwards, I feel really embodies judo. And yeah, just enjoy these throws. Might put a bit of music on in the background just whilst you bask in the glory of Tani Otoshi. Last but certainly not least is Yoko Gake. So for a long time I thought I disliked Yoko Gake. I talked about this in the recent video I did where I did a bit of a tutorial coaching breakdown of Yoko Gake. As it turns out, I've been happily using this throw in randoris and competitions for years, not realizing that I was doing basically Yoko Gake. I didn't actually quite know what the name of the throw was, and well, colour me surprised when I found out that all this time I've been bad-mouthing Yoko Gake and then hypocritically using it on a regular basis. But here we are. So this is a good example of where a competition variation of a throw can look quite different to the actual throw, but you got to look at what the mechanics of the throwing action of the throw are and look at how it goes together. I still dislike the traditional version, both throwing with it and being thrown with it, but the conversion, I absolutely love it. So there you have it, my top 3 favourite Sutemi Waza techniques and I just said sacrifice techniques. My top 3 Sutemi Waza throws. I'll probably get that wrong as well. I'm not a student of the Japanese language. I can barely speak English on a good day. I'm very much. I didn't realise how much of my English was Northern English until I moved to Australia and no one could understand me. And I was like, no, these. I'm using words. I'm like words that I know, like mither. Have you ever heard the word mither or oyin? What else is there? Anyway, sorry, we're going to we're going on a tangent. We digress. Sacrifice throws. Not really a category of throws that I use, as I said at the beginning, but these 3 I use on a regular basis. I really enjoy using them. I love them, and I know I've used them quite a lot over the years to varying degrees of success. Now, I remember saying this, I can't remember which video I said it in, but I did say it because it was something that I realised when going through these videos. I started thinking about my judo again. Most of my judo has been relatively stable for a long time now. I know my throws, I know what I want to achieve, I know what I want to try and grip. Now, depending on who I'm training with or doing competitions, if I was on with someone who presented an obstacle and I would have to try and think my way around that obstacle to be able to throw, and I would use things, maybe the one and only time would be in that competition, like a Hail Mary technique at the end. But for the most part, my judo has been relatively stable. And I think it's very important for you to figure out what your judo is. Experiment with what you think you might like, and then if you do, you keep working with that. If you try something and it's not working, and it might just be because you're doing something wrong, but it might just be something that doesn't suit you. There's so many throws in judo and so many different variations of techniques that it's important to experiment, but then also to find what works for you and to really work on that. So when you're doing your uchikomi, again, different sessions sessions are run differently by different coaches, but you might end up in a position where it's like, okay, go and work on your judo. And if you're unable to be able to just immediately start working on what your judo is, then a good exercise would be to write down your top 3 favourite throws from each category and maybe whittle that down to your top favourite throws. So you end up with sort of 5 throws. Well, we got Ashiwaza, Koshiwaza, Teiwaza, Yoko Sutemi Waza, Master Sutemi Waza. So you have your 5 throws. To break it down, so you'll have 5 throws you're going to work on all the time, and then another 2 or 3 in the mix. You might put more in one group than the other. For me, I'd probably put more in the Koshiwaza and Ashiwaza and less in the Teiwaza and Sutemi Waza. That's my personal preference. And then work on those and be able to immediately know what your judo is and what you're working towards. And like I say, if you aren't able to immediately answer what that is, then sit down and start figuring it out. Now, if you're a white belt, for example, and you've not been taught certain throws in certain categories, for example, sacrifice throws aren't usually taught to white belts, from my experience, and it's something that comes later on the line. So don't worry about that. Just focus on what you have done and what you do know, and start to try and map out what your judo looks like. And from there, I think it's a very useful exercise to do, and hopefully it will give you a clearer idea of what you are trying to work towards and how you're going to develop as a judo player. And obviously this can change and evolve, and you'll adapt. And if you change, for myself, when I changed weights, when I went from 81s to 90s to 100s, there were certain techniques that stuck with me, and some techniques that I didn't really have success with the 81s, but then had more success with the 100s. I think Okuri-Ashi-Harai would be an example of that. And then certain throws that I used to do a lot of, like Okuri-Ashi-Harai, I don't really do as much anymore. And there could be a number of different reasons. It may not necessarily be the fact that the weight changed, but it could be a good part of it. So be open to evolving your judo, but find what is your judo. Okay, cool. We'll wrap it up there. Went off on a bit of a tangent, a bit of a ramble, and I hope that has helped you. I hope that helps you a little bit, and I'd be interested to know what your top 3 Sutemi Waza techniques would be. You obviously put them down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation down there. And that's it from me today. Thank you for supporting the Judo Way of Life. Thank you for watching the videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.